What's up, everybody? Get your coffee, drive to work, come back home, and forget that you went to work because work is not fun. But this is exciting, so at least you have something to listen to while you're driving to work. Today, so sizzle. If you're not sizzling today, you're doing it wrong. So, first up, let's talk about board game shit because StarCraft 2 is a love of mine, passion. Love playing StarCraft 2, probably got like 30 games in the last week. So I'm still an active player, one of the few beyond. Maybe I'm like in a diamond, low masters player level. In case you've ever played StarCraft, you understand it's a pretty competitive game and it's a pretty high skill level. But the skill selling from like a lower masters to a grandmasters is insane and I could never be at that level. But they made the miniatures game, right? They've been hyping it up. Archon Studios been hyping it up regularly, just being like, boom, this is going to be great. It's basically Warhammer, big 1v1 war scale, take turns, place your position, go into like an assault phase, defense phase, do your abilities, and attack each other, knock each other out, play some objectives, whatever you want to call that type of game. I was excited. About a week ago, they dropped the prices, and I was like, okay, little skepticism here. Really high for what it is. And then they're like, okay, GameFound launch. Glad they went to GameFound over Kickstarter. Nothing against Kickstarter, but I just tend to lean towards GameFound. It's a little bit more exciting for me. Price is still super high. What I am extremely confused by, someone explain this to me, is how do you make a pre-order on a Founders Edition that has a price slash that you say, hey, we're never going to sell this again? You can't be like, hey, that's the combined value, because I know that's what they're pushing. They're being, hey, well, it's really, value of 130. We're going to give you at 109. Doesn't make sense to me. Just give me the price of what it's going to be. Don't do this whole slash and act like it's a good deal, because per you, if you're telling the truth, I'm never going to be able to get this again. However, am I backing it? No, I'm not, because this is why. If the game plays 1 to 2 hours, you know how many StarCraft games I can get? Like an average StarCraft game is 12 minutes. I can play the real deal anytime with anyone in the world, not have to find someone that wants to come over, play the super complicated game that they don't know how to play, never going to read the rule book. So I'm going to say skip it, guys. As much as I love StarCraft and want the IP to continue on, board game is not the direction for this one. But board games I'm excited for. I think Bloodstone's supposed to launch a new campaign. If you can't tell, Droid City Games, big fan of. Fun games, love Droid City Games. I would assume like James is like the producer. He seems like a chill guy. Never met him, never talked to him in person. So no relationship there or anything like that. But Droid City Games, Bloodstone's coming out in the near future. Here to Slay RPG, I think that drops today. So if you haven't looked, go to GameFound. Here to Slay, it's by the same people that made Unstable Unicorn. So I get it. Caution yourself. You're like, hey, that's not for me. But I love the art. And they're going to make a role-playing game that seems a bit more simple or down to earth, down to pace. Just saying, you might want to check it out. It might be the game of the year. IDW Games the last week, they dropped a campaign out of nowhere. Haven't seen a campaign since last ones I've backed was either Splat Attack or the TMT Adventure game. And then IDW, this is before COVID, maybe about like 2017, 2018, just disappeared. IDW Games done. They went strictly publishing. Great comic books, so check out the comic books. And then now they're back doing a Godzilla RPG. Interested, not so much in the Godzilla RPG, but I'm interested in IDW Games' return because they have a lot of IP, so I'm super excited for that. We watched episode 4 of Monarch last night. If you haven't seen season 1 of Monarch, no spoilers here. I'm not going to spoil anything. I am going to probably do a talk down to season 1 when I'm done with season 1. That's going to have a lot of spoilers. You should go watch it. If you're thinking, okay, you know the general premise, no spoilers here, it's monsters, right? The Godzilla universe. It's not a spoiler. Go watch a trailer. You'll get all of that. But you don't know what that is? This is the show for you because I'm like, it's not for me. I don't know anything about Godzilla, the universe. I don't care. You start watching the show and it's almost like they've done the interweaving of stories of similar, like if you're a Game of Thrones fan or maybe not Lost back in the day, but any of the type of stories like Fallout. Fallout would be a good example. If you're like a Fallout fan, Game of Thrones fan, and you like stories that kind of interweave, but then all kind of like play parts in the story and the bigger arcing thing, great, fantastic. Check it out. Haven't seen season 2 yet. Heard great things about season 2, so I'm looking forward to that. But let's go on to the next thing. Catherine Kahn is now going to be Mother Gothel in Tangled. I'm interested. I am not a big Tangled fan, huge Disney fan. And, there is the argument of, do we need more live action movies? And I'm going to say, yes, we do. Because if you didn't watch Lilo and Stitch, you're completely incorrect. Lilo and Stitch live action was perfect. It's a lower budget, family friendly. Kids love it. Adults love it, and if you don't love it, you're not a Disney fan, because Stitch is like the best character outside of like the Fab Five. But Mother Gothel as Catherine as Tangled is going to be interesting, because everyone probably knows her recently, MCU, Agatha. She did great. Agatha was probably one of my top MCU TV shows, and it had no connection to the MCU, and that's why it was great. I think this is going to be a very fun live action. I hope they stick a little bit different than the original story. To me, the original story is a little predictable, but I understand that's not what the live actions are for. It's to reintroduce it to a next generation, and I can't wait for my kids to see this, and she is going to be wonderful in that role. So, boom, Hoppers. Haven't seen it. What I am going to see this weekend is Zootopia 2. You can bet on that, because I hit on digital yesterday or today or the next day, depending what day this gets uploaded. Zootopia 2 should be on Disney+. So if you haven't already seen it in the theaters, you should go to theaters first. Doubt it's in there anymore. But Zootopia 2 on digital. Gonna watch that with my family soon. I think the kids are gonna love it. Zootopia 1's not my favorite movie. I know people love it. It's huge worldwide. It does really well in the international market. Zootopia 2, though, seemed to have a bit more comedic elements, and really showing, based off the trailers, showing these characters in this dynamic world that just changes, and I can't wait to see it. But Hoppers, I'm hearing articles and stuff, best box office for a Pixar original since Coco. I might be having to get some movie tickets, y'all. I don't know if Pixar's got its magic back, but we got Pixar, Toy Story 5's coming back out. I know they said Coco 2. Let's pause. Coco 2. What is the plot of Coco 2? Coco is great. Love that movie. Love the songs. I love the culture and the touches of the real world that they put in this kid. I'm going to go out here and go ahead and say this. If I could make Coco 2, what would I make? And I have no idea, but I'm going to think of this really quickly. I would end it exactly where Coco 1 ended. Miguel just got his big chance on stage, essentially, right? And he's all of a sudden flashed into a famous kid universe. I want to do like the story of what it's like to be a kid. This is working. What it's like to be a kid that is famous. But we're going to sneak in the cultural glimpses, because he's going to go on tour, maybe with like a boy band or something, like a kids band. He's going to be in a kids band, and he's going to have to tour in different locations at different times of the year. And he's going to have to experience cultures that are outside of his cultures, that his family is going to originally not accept, not endorse, but his greater understanding is going to make him better. And then I say we conclude the tour on Dia de los Muertos. I said that completely terrible because my Spanish is terrible. Day of the Dead concert back in his hometown, and he gets his family's blessing again. So maybe like his father is like, maybe he's praised in the afterlife now, and maybe he gets like, I don't know if this exists in the culture, so hopefully this doesn't offend anyone, like an honorable medal so he can talk to Miguel and guide him. Maybe he's like a spirit guide outside of like Dante. Maybe there's a different form of a spirit guide that he can be. He can help him on this tour and go to these different destinations, get these cultural experiences. He's doing beautiful music. He's doing band music. So the music in this movie, the soundtrack, it's going to be banging that I'm making. So go ahead, Disney, steal this idea. I don't care. Do it. Boom. And then he comes back. His family's a little skeptical and everything because maybe he went trick-or-treating. I don't know if that's like against Day of the Dead's cultural beliefs completely, or if it's just outside of his culture. But we can do all these different cultural experiences, not just American culture either. We can go, worldwide tour here. And then he has to conclude back at his hometown. Ooh! Go ahead and send me some pen, some papers, Disney. I'll write you the best movie you've ever seen. Best soundtracks, forget it. You're going to have to get anybody else to write it, but whatever. So, there's that. What's up, though, with Disney parks? Every vlogger, more news outlet, since Josh D'Amaro's taken over, it seems to be a bit of a rumor. We've scrapped the original new Magic Kingdom plans to introduce this beautiful villain, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. It almost seems like they're building an ear over here, so then they can build an ear over here in Magic Kingdom. So if you're not familiar with Magic Kingdom, it's basically a circle inside of this train track. So you got the train station in the front, you got some train stations on the side. And I don't think there's currently one behind Fairy Tale Land, but you got like 3 touch points of train stations. We got Villains Land kind of coming over here, right? You're telling me that they're not building the world's greatest hidden Mickey in plain sight and no one's called it out. Just saying. Stay tuned, because, you know, when we redo the circus land over here, back to Toontown, I don't know, we'll see. But there's a lot of rumors right now with Villains Land being changed, going bigger, going better. I hope some of that's true, but none of it seems to match. I keep seeing people, you know, they look at the layout of the water lines and the sewer lines and the permits, and I'm like, this all seems to be the original concept. And then you hear stories of, well, you know, the big e-ticket ride's going to be a boat ride. I'm cool with that if it's a good boat ride. I love the boat rides. I know there's some Hong Kong, so maybe it's Tokyo. There's the Pirates version. I can't remember if it's Hong Kong or in Tokyo. See, wherever that one was, I'll have to double check. Is that new boat ride, and it's got really cool screens and everything like that, and it's like a state-of-the-art boat ride. Maybe we get that. I'm okay with that. Do we need that in Magic Kingdom? No, we got Pirates, we got Tiana's. I'm good enough with those 2 boat rides. I really do hope it's an e-ticket. Maleficent roller coaster. I know the rumors of pull the lever, Kronk. You know, that's floating around. There's not possible. I'm sorry, guys. I know nothing about the ecosystem behind the scenes of Disney. They're not doing a pull the lever Emperor's New Groove roller coaster. That is too much money going into this to have one character that nobody's seen that movie in the last 15 years. Has a cult following. Don't get me wrong. People love that movie. I hear references of it periodically throughout the year. But we're not going to do that for this great $10 billion, you know, proposal within the Kissimmee, Florida district, all this money going in there. No, but I do hope we get a roller coaster. If we get a boat ride, I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it. The land hopefully will be beautiful. I need it themed almost to the level of Pandora in Animal Kingdom. Maybe a little bit like the whole Star Wars area, because that's really fun too, because the Star Wars area does a great job. If you've walked in there, you know, in the last few years, you'll remember this. I don't know if you go as much as I do, but it almost sections you off, but it's in a bigger scheme of the world. So like, it seems like you're, oh, boom, and you're in the bathrooms, right? You go to the next level and, you know, it used to be Kylo Ren in the ship and some stormtroopers in a store. Oh, now you see down this giant pathway. Oh, is that the Millennium Falcon over there? Let's go walk and check that out. You walk by the cantina, you know, there's a little pop-up store on the left. You get to this Millennium Falcon and you're like, oh, this is cool. There's a ride over here. Let's go do that. Oh, what's that smell? You see the little cooking thing? Love it. So it's like almost in stages, you know, you get to the market, you go to where Rise of the Resistance is, you have the front storefront where sometimes there's a stormtrooper walking on top. The experience is wonderful, and it sections you off that the crowds there don't feel overbearing, even though you know that's the most dense section of Hollywood studios. If Villains Land can recapture that at Magic Kingdom, wonderful. If they can reroute the parade somehow, and it starts there so the parade is even longer, would be the icing on the cake. Disney, if you're listening, anyone at Disney that's Imagineer or has a chance of listening to this, and you can somehow navigate the parades to now come through the Villains Land, and it's a longer run, a pathway where there's more front row seatings for everyone, just saying you should consider it, because I'm a short guy. I got kids. They want to be in the front. You put them on my shoulders, they're probably not even over the first kid or first guy, adult in front of me. So I'm just saying, short people would appreciate it. Kids would appreciate it. Let's do it. Let's make it more. Everyone wants to see those shows. I would even appreciate, hey, if you said, hey, we're not going to do 2 shows today. We did 1 show, but it's like the path is twice as long. You can see everything. You save your money that way. Just consider it, guys. I don't know. But anywho, hope you guys like this. Drive to work, turn around, don't go to work. I don't care. Anyway, like this video. Hope you like this. We're going to do more news and updates on, you know, Disney stuff, movies, games, TV shows, anything that I watch. So I'm out. And have a sip of coffee. Later, guys.